Communication University of Maiduguri was established in the year 1983. After the establishment of the University of Maiduguri in the year 1975. A library is an important source of knowledge to young minds in school. It helps develop the important habit of reading among students. The school library plays a great role in the life of students by serving as the store, house of knowledge. The importance of library in a school cannot be overemphasized. While the role of the school library remains constant as it's designed accordingly, the department governing board came up with an idea to provide a specific library for their students in order to improve their academic activities. The Mass Communication Reference Library is owned by the Department of Mass Communication University of Maiduguri. It is located at Akada behind the ICT Center. A senior lecturer with the Department of Mass Communication University of Maiduguri, Dr. Sharafa Dauda, explicates the aims and objectives of the establishment of the Mass Communication Reference Library.
The reference library at the Mass Communication was established around 2012, ahead of the National Universities Commission accreditation. And this is in line with the requirements for the accreditation of mass communication programs. And I believe for most of programs offered in universities require a reference library because students are expected to have access to materials that are directly related to the courses that are taught in the department. So without a reference library, students will not be able to have access to materials, books, periodicals like journals and magazines, and newspapers that have direct link with the courses that they are being taught.
Dr. Sharafa Dauda also gives some reason behind the establishment of Mass Communication Reference Library.
For every department, there is a need for students to have direct access to materials, books, literatures, which have links with the courses that they are taught and the knowledge they want to acquire. So the library, like it is called a reference library, will contain some books on courses that are taken in the department. It will also contain projects that have been supervised by the department at the undergraduate, master's and PhD levels. It also contains newspapers, like at the Department of Mass Communication, we have a rare collection of newspapers that was donated to us by Professor Abubakar Muazu. This is very, very rare for you to find in most libraries that you go around. They are a collection of years and years and years of newspapers, and he went ahead, a step ahead, to bind these newspapers. So instead of having them in disaggregated form in pieces for each edition of the newspaper, he has bound the copies of the Daily Trust from so year to so year, the Guardian, the Punch, and all the newspapers, a lot of newspapers actually. So this can be an archive for newspaper research. I can be sure that in the whole of the Northeast, you don't have this. Even in northern Nigeria, where you can have it is only at the library in Kaduna at Arewa House. That's where you can have this much of newspapers that have been stuck together. Even at the Arewa House in Kaduna, you don't have them bound together. You have them in piecemeal. But what he has done is he has bound them together, and this provides you with access to newspapers for a particular period of time. So you don't have to start looking for newspapers helter and skelter. They are all there in serials.
Using the library helps students in academic and research purposes.
The library has materials that are directly related to the courses that we teach in master. We also have a digital library section where we have books, journal articles, editorials, book chapters, and so much more that have been archived on them. These are electronic books. We have thousands of them. In fact, I can say tens of thousands of those books. But one of the challenges we have for students accessing those materials is the lack of constant electricity power supply. And because these things are in electronic form, you have to turn on the computer before you can have access to them. So most of the time, when students even have these materials, they cannot access them because of the lack of constant power supply. Then students can also use the library as a reading space, because the library is in a serene environment. There is no noise, and the atmosphere is very conducive. It is carpeted. The books are shelved like a library that you find, and the shelves, and you have tables that you can sit down comfortably and read. The room is air conditioned. Of course, it's not all the time that you have electricity, but it is. There's ventilation across the place, so you can sit down quietly and you read, and you can use the place for your assignments. You can do, you can even do group reading there. For instance, of course, you can do group because the chairs and tables are arranged in such a way that you can read in group. So you can do group reading there. You can consult projects. We have archived our projects, and then we have taken an inventory of all the projects that we have conducted at the department. At the undergraduate and the postgraduate levels. The librarian has gone one step forward to take an inventory of all of them, and then he has printed out the inventory. So if you're looking for a particular project, you just go, he has the hard copy, he also has the electronic copy. You just check for the year and the serial number, so he can use that to easily locate the project. So this can help students to be able to understand how is a project supposed to be structured. For instance, this can help students to understand how a project is supposed to be structured and what are the components and elements that you find in the project, which can be very difficult for students. Students can also look at journal articles, for instance. What is a journal article? What are the things that are published in the journal articles? And this can be of use to them in finding empirical evidence of some of the theoretical issues that are discussed in mass comm. Students can also use the library as a first point of contact. Yes, we have other libraries in the university, but the other libraries will also house other materials for other departments. Now in mass comm, at the mass comm reference library, when you call it mass comm reference library, it means that most of the materials you find there are related to mass comm. But of course, mass comm is diverse. You find development communication there, you find sociology books there, you have psychology books there, you have ICT books there, computer books there. So the library is diverse as diverse as the teachings of mass communication are. So this will afford students with the opportunity to have access to a lot of material.
The librarian reference library, Mr. Karaga Butuboko, described their persistence and effort over handling the library in accordance with the school management.
Well, I'm not the first person I meet. There is a handbook that I meet here that someone has operated the library before. So either I'm the second person or third, I don't know. But the library is closed because of staff. So since I was posted to mass communication, then the head of department, which is Professor Mohammed Mujibau, then trust me to come and operate.
The librarian mentions some the way students of mass communication can access the library.
The reference library in this department, I can say the general department, is only made for particular department. Because the book, maybe you are from medicine or from agri, or you are from education department, if you come here, that we will block our seats for the student. We have only mass communication books materials here, only area. So if you wish, we can go down. I will show you how we categorize it. Okay, the mode of entering for the student. The first time that I was assigned to work with this library under the leadership of Professor Mohammed Mujibau. We have an ESCOS, so he taught me to sit with the ESCOS and resolve into laws that students will strictly followed it. Then we sat down and resolved into 7 laws. 1, student must show his ID card or ID card before entry. 2, switch off your handset immediately you step into the library. 3, group discussion and noise makers are prohibited in the library. 4, readers should keep their bags near the circulation center, which is here. 5, reservation of seats is not allowed because we have only limited of seats. We can only accommodate 34 students at particular time. So if you reserve for someone, that means you block the chance for someone. So we doesn't allow to reserve a seat. Then 6, any consulted books, students should leave it on the desk. Because if you temper to reshuffle it, tomorrow when you come, you cannot get the book that you read yesterday. So you allowed us to leave the books on the desk. So it is our duty to reshuffle according to the columns, so that easier when you come, if you ask, we'll give you the book that you want. So 7, laptops are not allowed in the library. Laptops, we doesn't allow laptops to go into the library. But if you have something that you need to use with your laptop, you draw our attention. So I will ask you to sit down here on my table. The book that you need, you pick it. With your laptop, you can do whatsoever you want, but it doesn't go down this.
What are the rules and regulations governing the library?
And already we read it. Yeah, the 7 this thing that we resolved into are the rules. Then beside that, your question is for example, how you remove your shoes. It is not from the librarian. It is included in these 7 items. It is the ESCOs that said nobody should enter this library with a shoe. Because this library, some used to sit down on the floor, so they need this library to be okay every time. So I communicate this with the head of department. The head of department told me, you are working for them. Anything that's said, obey it. So that's why myself, since I posted in this office, my shoe never entered this office. You see? So sometimes you will see my slippers here. In terms of if I come with cover shoe. So this is the rule. So in addition, these books that you are seeing, this big hardcover, it is a newspaper donated by Professor Muazu Abubakar. So really our students were suffering before. If you are graduating, some will go to Kaduna, Kano, looking for this thing. So now it's available here. Our student doesn't go outside to look for any materials unless you are not serious student. But since you are a serious student, anything that you want, you get it here.